Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, and welcome to Command Power, the show in which we discuss all things Magic the Gathering with a focus on Commander.
And welcome to another episode of our card spotlight series in which I highlight a card that I think should see more play in Commander. But before that, just a quick reminder to click subscribe if you enjoy my videos. We're well on our way to 1 million subscribers and your support means everything to me. And today we're going to be talking about Plumb the Forbidden. For 1 colorless and 1 black, it's an instant that says, as an additional cost to cast this spell, you may sacrifice 1 or more creatures. When you do, copy this spell for each creature sacrificed this way. You draw a card and you lose 1 life. So this is a really powerful effect that is a little bit expensive still, even though it's just an uncommon from Strixhaven, which wasn't printed that long ago. It's worth about $1.50, which is actually quite a reasonable amount of value. But despite all of that, it's only played in 4% of black decks, which is pretty low, I would say, because I think this card is universally good. I think people see it and think that it's very niche. It only goes in token strategies or in strategies where you're going wide with a lot of small creatures, but I don't think that's necessarily the case. This card can actually do very well in any black deck, and for one reason alone, which is to protect against board wipes. It's just such a good response to a board wipe because you only need to leave 2 mana up and you can sacrifice your entire board to this to trade them all in for cards. That means that any kind of board wipe for your opponent is really not going to do that much to you, and it's particularly good if somebody casts a board wipe that exiles. Something like Farewell comes to mind, because by responding to something like Farewell with Plumb the Forbidden, you get to put your creatures back into the graveyard, which means that since you're in black, you're probably going to have some way to interact with that graveyard or reanimate them later. That can be huge, and protecting your creatures from exile is a great feeling in and of itself, but then drawing a card for each one of those creatures just puts it over the top. You do need to have a little bit of life if you want to draw a lot of cards with this, but that flexibility cannot be ignored. It gets exponentially better, of course, if you are in an aristocrats or tokens-based deck. Something like Chatterfang absolutely loves this because you're making so many squirrel tokens that trading them all in for 2 mana and drawing a ton of cards off of it is just really fantastic. Having it in an aristocrats deck is also very good because you're going to presumably have a bunch of death trigger payoffs in play, so when you play something like this, you can trigger all of your death triggers once for each creature you have onto the battlefield, so that's actually a really powerful effect. Some kind of sacrifice outlets only let you do 1 creature at a time or 1 creature per turn. This one can allow you to trade in your board at instant speed just to get all of those death triggers. It is again especially good if you're doing it reactively. If somebody's trying to mess with your board and it doesn't seem like you have a sack outlet out, then having this in hand in those kind of decks can just allow you to really blow out your opponents. But beyond all of that, it's just a good card. Even if you're just sacrificing 1 creature with this in response to a targeted removal spell, you're drawing 2 cards and losing 2 life for 2 mana at instant speed. That's already a better Knight's Whisper and a better Sign in Blood, and those cards are very playable in Commander in the first place, so the floor for this is actually pretty high. It's not going to get much worse than that, which is already an excellent card, but the ceiling is incredibly high. The ceiling is you protecting your entire board from getting exiled to a board wipe and drawing like 10 cards. That is an unbelievably good rate for a 2 mana card, and honestly it comes up way more often than you might think. This card is just really solid and it should see so much more play. So there you have it. Those have been my thoughts on this new spoiler. What do you think about this card? Please let me know in the comment section below. I read all comments and respond to all of them too. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click like or subscribe. It really helps the channel. And until next time, take care. Woo!